Trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although this could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition of risk capital is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, or overly stress me out. As human beings, we make bad decisions when we're under stress, so be in a good spot. Remember, micro contracts could be friends. Take it easy on the day trade margins. You get plenty of leverage without maxing out on those day trade margins on a regular basis. We'll be taking a look at a real-time simulated live NinjaTrader trading platform today, and none of this should be construed as trade or investment advice. Past performance not indicative of future results. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. It's February 5th, 2024. My name is Jim Cagnina with NinjaTrader. I appreciate everybody being here with us today. Today, we're going to focus on a specific type of order cancels other trade, OCO, and we're going to use the automated trade management function on the NinjaTrader platform. Specifically, we're going to look for we're gonna set up a multi-target bracket that's automated. Now, there's a couple of ways to launch the ATMs, and let me just show you. The first way is actually right here from the chart itself. So here's the chart. This is a micro E-mini S&P chart, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the chart trader button at the top of the chart. It looks like one of those old-fashioned egg beaters, right? And it's going to bring down this menu, and I'll click chart trader. And then you'll see ATM strategy on the right-hand side. A bunch of stuff on the right-hand side, but you'll see the ATM strategy on the right-hand side. It says none right there, right? That's one way to do it. We're going to launch it actually from the trading ladder today. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the chart trader. And I'm going to pull over a trading ladder. This is the SuperDOM. This is NinjaTrader SuperDOM. I'm going to hit Auto Center. And you can see prices are moving around on the trading ladder. Real-time data is populating here. At the bottom of my trading ladder, let me put this right in the middle here so we can see it pretty good. At the bottom of my trading ladder, you'll see some information. What market are we looking at? It's called an instrument or a market. This is the micro NASDAQ stock index futures, and this is the March 2024 contract. And then the next area is time and force. It's good to cancel. We'll leave that alone. The next area lets us set our quantity, how many contracts we wanted to trade at one time. Lower left is the account that we're in, and I have a couple of different accounts. This is my sim account 1. It's named sim account 1, and the tab at the bottom reinforces the idea that, hey, we're in the micro NASDAQ here in the March 2024 contract. So ATM strategy says none right now. So if I just place a trade here in the market, I'm going to simply click on a price, and it will actually trigger this is a manual trade, right? Just click at a price, and it'll throw it in. Click at another price, and it'll throw it in. And these are limit orders I just submitted. So this is manual, right? It's manual. I can cancel and replace these. I can move them around however I want. But what we're going to do next is we're going to actually try to automate some functionality here. So let's do that. Last week we did a simple bracket. This week we're going to do a multi-target bracket. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the ATM strategy where it says none. I'm going to hit that drop-down menu. And in that drop-down menu, we have a couple of things. We have a couple of strategies I've already set up, right? And I've named them specifically to a specific type of automated trade management strategy. But we're going to create a new one. We're going to go to custom. I'm going to click on custom, and it's going to open up this dialog box, right? And so could we see that? Okay, maybe I should do it on the side. Hang on. Let me kind of move this over a little bit to the left. Again, I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to click on custom. It's going to open up this dialog box. It doesn't look like much, but it does an awful lot of stuff. So the first thing we want to decide is how big of a trade do we want to do, right? So how many targets do we want to have? How many profit targets do we want to have on a trade? And so let's go ahead and set up a 3-unit or a 3-contract trade. So I have order quantity set to 3. Now remember, when you set up the strategy up here, make sure this quantity matches the quantity on the lower right-hand side of your trading ladder, okay? Just make sure these two jive, right? So it's a 3 to 3. So now right away, you'll see target one, right? I have target one, a stop loss, profit, stop strategy. But we're going to do 3 targets. We're not just going to do one, we're going to do 3. So I'm going to go to this add button on the right-hand side, and I'm going to click it once. It'll create a second target, and then I'll click it again, and it'll create a third target. So I have parameters to set up for each individual contract that we trade. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set up my stop loss. I'm going to set up the stop loss so it's the same for every single contract, right? So we're going to place a 3 contract trade on, and I want the same initial stop loss, right? So we'll set that. Let's go ahead and again, I'm just making this up as part of my micro NASDAQ strategy. Don't follow along in a live account. Again, demonstration purposes right now. So we'll make a stop loss for 60 ticks, and these are ticks, right? Remember, parameter type is ticks. So these are 60 ticks. There's 4 ticks in a point in a micro NASDAQ, right? So there's 4 ticks in a point. So remember that. And I'm going to go ahead and hit 60 again for target 2. Now hit 60 again for target, 60 again for target 3. Now quantity is going to be 1, 1, and 1 for a total of 3. 1, 1, and 1. Now I could do it 2, 1, and 1 if I wanted, right? Then I would have to set up a 4-unit trade, right? Or I could do 1, 2, and 1. Or I could do 1, 1, and 2. So you could do anything really. So these are the quantities you could set up. I'm making it even, right? I'm just doing 1 lot, 1 lot, 1 lot. Stop is at 60 for each of these. Now I got to set up. Now I'm going to have to set up a profit target, right? What do I want? Where's my profit target? I know what my stop loss is. So for unit 1, let's say that I decide, hey, I want to do. We're going to do 60 for a profit target for unit 1. For the second target, we'll do 80. And for the third target, we'll do 100. So the idea here is if we catch the trend in the right direction, as soon as we achieve 60 units profit target, then it will liquidate one of the 3 units. So I only have 2 left. And then we get the second unit. If we were lucky enough to get the second target, then we'll only have 1 unit left. So the stop loss will change to a 1 stop. And then eventually, if we get the third one, we'll be in good shape. So let's see how that works here. I'm not going to do anything else with the stop strategy. We'll do that later. Let's just leave the stop strategy alone for now. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK button. Now, I have custom. I didn't save it as a template yet. It has custom I. It's right there. It's on my trading ladder. Quantity 3. So the trend seems to be going up here in this particular market. So I'm going to put a limit order in for 3 units, right? And I'm going to go ahead. Initially, I'll set it at 17,666. And you can see the market is moving around mark to market, and it's bouncing around. Now, because we're doing a presentation and we're in the middle of the day, well, we'll be patient for a second here. If we don't get filled right away, I'll start chasing this to the upside. So we could just see, remember, I want to get long 3 units. Okay, so I just chased it. We're long 3 units here. That's green, 3, we're long. And look what happened on the chart. And it also happens on the trading ladder also. But on the chart, you'll see I have my 3 targets. Let's go over to the chart. And my stop in place, right? I have my 3 units in my stop in place. So the idea here is it's automated. So if, let's say the worst thing happened, right? And this market crashes, we get stopped out, right? Our stop loss is hit, which would make us flat because we're long 3 contracts. And if we sold 3 on a stop, then we would be short. I mean, we'd be flat rather, right? They'd cancel each other out, long and short, right? Now, alternatively, if we achieve one of the profit targets, right, before we get stopped out, if we achieve one of them before we get stopped out, then that stop becomes a 2. It turns into a 2, right? So there's symmetry because I only have 2 units left. Does that make sense? So I only have 2 units left. And then in the second one, of course, it'll change the stop to a 1. And then if I achieve the third target, then it will go, and then we'll have no stops. So my hands are off the mouse right now. I don't have to do anything. I could just let this trade go with the idea that, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to remain flat somehow, some way, right? Now, it's very conceivable that I could get one of my units, and then the market breaks back down, and I get stopped out for the remaining 2. I mean, that's certainly something that could happen pretty easily. So keep that in mind as well. Now, the other thing that's super important is you could manually move these orders around, and the instructions, the ATM instructions, will still be valid, right? You're not canceling those because we have it in play. And just to make sure we have it in play, go to all the way to the bottom of the trading ladder, and you can see that lightning bolt, right? There's a lightning bolt there with custom one. This is what we just set up, custom one with the lightning bolt. That means it means it's in play. It's active. It's activated right now. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do a couple of things here just to kind of speed this up. I'm going to go ahead and just move one of these units down here a little tighter, right? So I move my profit target down here a little tighter. And then I'm going to move my stop loss up a little bit above VWAP, that purple line right there, right? So I'm kind of containing these a little bit more. And again, I'm doing this just to kind of show you what will happen. And hopefully we got one unit, and then you see the stop loss change to a 2, right? It's automated. I didn't do that. It automatically did it. So it's good for a couple different reasons. One, it's good to ensure that that you're bracketing a trade, right? You have your target and your stop loss, two components around any trade, best practices really, and you're able to do it automatically. And then we have a certain amount of discipline, right? I put it in, let the machine do the work, and hopefully we're correct on our analysis and everything goes our way. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this second target down so we can see if we can get that guy. And then there's the second, and you see it in the trader. See how it hit. It hit the second unit, right? The second profit target got hit. Our stop changed to a 1, and now we're off to the races. We're trying to achieve this third one. And again, for purposes of the presentation, I'm going to move my stop above my break-even level, and I'm going to go ahead and drop down my last unit to see if we can get this third unit. Now, at this point, remember, maybe we don't get this third unit. Maybe the market breaks back down and I get stopped out. Well, what'll happen if that happens? Well, let's see what'll happen. This will be interesting. If we get stopped out, then guess what? You already guessed it. That last profit target's automatically canceled. Order cancels other, right? And we've seen it. We broke it up into 3-unit trades. So that's a multi-target trade. Now, you could do 2 units instead of 3. I just chose 3 for fun. You could do 4 units, or depending on the size of your account and how much margin you're willing to commit, how much capital you're willing to commit to a trade. You could go ahead and set it up for whatever you want. So we're stopped, we're flat, there's nothing working, and everything is good in the universe. So that's a really, we were lucky we caught the trend, right? And we were able to catch the trend and demonstrate that functionality. And I would really recommend when once you start developing some of these strategies, that you should consider practicing them in sim mode, because the parameters I set for the micro NASDAQ are going to be way different than the parameters I would set for an E-mini S&P as an example, right? An E-mini S&P, I wouldn't go 60, 80, 100, because that's a pretty big range. That's a huge range for a trade. So I would consider different parameters to make it a little tighter. Again, every market's different. The micro NASDAQ does move around quite a bit, quite volatile, as you could see. Now, I wanted to also, you could do this on the short side too, right? I just did it on the long side. You could do it on the short side. Now, look at the bottom here. I still have in the ATM strategy window, it's still there. Custom is still there. It's still on my screen. So anything I do now is going to employ that custom strategy until I change it. And I could drop down the menu and I could change it to none, or I could change it to a new one. I can create a new one if I wanted to. So let's just do this from the short side. Okay. So again, I'm gonna try to sell a unit here. 3 units, right? 3, because it's a 3-unit target. And then we'll see if we can get a little bit of lucky here. Get filled here a little bit. Come on. There we go. And so it did it, right? So it did I'm sorry, I'll move this over. It did it, but it's reversed, right? We're short, right? The red means we're short 3 contracts. We hope that the market goes down right now. And you can see it automatically put my targets in, right? It already put 60, 80, 100. And then my stop is 60 above because I'm short, right? So the market goes against me, it would go up, right? And then I would buy back 3 to be flat as a protective stop, and it would be that's an example of a losing trade, right? Alternatively, if we go back down here, I can get some of my targets. And the same thing is true. I'm going to go ahead and just tighten up this target real quickly here, just so we can kind of see it in action. I'll bring down my stop also a little bit, and we could see the whole order cancels other, ATM, automated trade management work. Now my hands are off the table, everybody. I'm not touching anything. So again, we're waiting either for our profit targets to get hit or the stop to be triggered, which would then cancel all of my orders, right? I'll be flat. I won't have to do any work. I can sit back and maybe I'll look at another market, or maybe I'll listen to the news, or who knows, I'll eat my lunch. So in any event, we're kind of slow in here. And it's kind of, when you kind of demonstrate this on the short side of a market that's railing, of course, I don't expect to have a lot of success. But I'm just going to tighten up my stop here so we can kind of force it to stop us out. And you can see it on the trading ladder also. And when you have these OCOs, the trade indicator on the trading ladder goes all the way across, right? It's not partial. It's not a partial buy stop, right? Otherwise, if it was just a manual one, you'd only see the label going halfway. You see that red bar all the way across, you know that it is also a OCO in the works here. And then the gray line here, at the gray box there, is where we entered, right? That gray box is where we entered. That is our average price, right? This is our average entry for 3 units. That's our price. And the yellow highlighted rectangle there, or cell, or whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the trading ladder, then that's mark to market, right? It's, as trades are happening, it's moving around at different price levels right there. So again, you can manually modify some of these orders pretty easily, just simply by the trading ladder or by using the chart trader, right? So I just clicked in the middle, brought my mouse down, clicked again. I just tightened my stop up right now, just a little bit above our entry price. And again, we're bouncing around. What I expect to happen is, well, maybe we get stopped out and our profit targets are canceled. So that one worked out pretty good, okay? If you have any questions, by the way, I have Ed Jerkin with me behind the scenes in the chat. It's easy to find the chat. You just go to ninjatrader.com/events and pop in there. Any questions on this stuff? My colleague Ed Jerkin is behind the scenes, and Ed has been with Ninja a long period of time and is very knowledgeable on the platform. So feel free to type in any questions, comments, observations you might have to add. So let's up our game a little bit, right? And this is a preview of what we're going to talk about next week, but let's go ahead and up our game a little bit. And let's go back to that custom strategy. Let's edit it. See, I'm going to put my mouse over it. Hang on. The drop-down menu here in the ATM strategy, I could go back to none if I wanted to, or I could edit the custom one, or I could save the custom one, right? But at this point right now, I'm just going to edit it. So I'm going to click on that edit button. It's going to open it up, and I'll see my parameters: 60, 60, 60 for the stop, profit, 60, 80, and 10. Now, let's say that the trade goes our way a certain amount, and I would like to move my stop automatically to break even. We could do that. We could either split it up to treat each contract differently, or we can make each contract the same. Let's make each contract the same. So under stop strategy, I'm going to click on none. I'm going to customize that guy, right? And I'm going to see at the very top, auto break even, profit trigger, right? So now what I'm saying is, hey, if this thing goes 12 ticks our way, then let's move our break even. Let's move our stop to break even where we entered plus 1 tick, right? Plus 1. Why plus 1 tick? Well, remember, when you put a stop loss in, it's going to behave like a market order, right? So you can get slippage one way or the other. Plus, you have transaction fees that you have to encounter, so deal with. So by adding plus 1, in my mind, helps you get closer to truly break even, right? Helps me get through. Now, underneath it, there's an auto trail. We're going to talk about this next week. This could be a little complicated, but we're going to talk about it next week. So profit trigger, once we get 12 our way, then we're going to move our stop to where we entered plus a tick. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to do the same thing for each one of the legs of the trade. Again, none, custom, 12, 1, OK. Do the same thing. None, custom, 12, 1, and OK. All right, so I have 3 custom strategies. They're all the same for my stop. I have 3 custom strategies I have 1 custom strategy for my multi-target bracket. and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, it's locked and loaded and ready to go. You can see down here, customize, ready to go. And now I just got to choose a direction here that I think might. Let's go ahead and let's just try to get short here. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the sell side. Again, 3 units is matching what I have set up. We got filled, and now, whoopsie, and now our order's in place. What we want to happen is we want this thing to go 12 ticks our way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We want to see a 75 even print. And then our break even, our stop loss should jump all the way down to where we entered plus a tick. Let's see if we can get it to happen. Couple more ticks. There we go. It moved down. You can see it on the chart. It moved down. And we're still in the right direction here. So we jumped down to break even. You can see it on the chart trader, right? There's just not enough room to see it on the dome at this point. And then we have some targets down there. We hope we could achieve some of these targets before we get stopped out. If we do achieve these targets, then the stop will change. We just got stopped out. All right, so that worked pretty nicely. Let's do the same thing on the long side, right? We can do the same thing on the long side. I'm going to go ahead and just, again, this is already there. It's already there, ATM custom. It's already there. I'm going to go ahead and buy 3. Now I want the market to rally up 12 to 12. It did. And then my stop jumped up, right? My stop jumped up. Now, hopefully we'll get a continuation move on the upside, right? And then that stop will be modified if, in fact, we get one of the profit targets before we get stopped out. So that's the idea on how that particular thing works. And then again, you could modify this. You could click and click. You could manually move your stops and your targets any way you'd like. Make sense? So again, multi-targets, you could do 2 lots, 3 lots, 4 lots, 5 lots, whatever you want. You could actually also customize how you want your stop loss to behave throughout the process, even before you achieve any of your profit targets. So let's do it again, though. Let's choose a different marketplace, right? Let's choose a different marketplace, and we'll do the whole thing again. Now, by the way, if you wanted to just go and trade 1 lots now, you have to make some manually, right? With no OCOs, you would hit with no ATM or no OCOs. Go to the bottom, change the ATM strategies to none, and then change your quantity to whatever you'd like. And now, again, you could manually enter orders however you see fit. Just manually enter them and see how these orders aren't all the way across, right? These orders are only partially across. This tells me these are manual orders. They're not the OCOs that went all the way across that we just saw. That makes sense? You could cancel them or do whatever you want. All right. So let's just toggle over to, I don't know, the S&P 500. We'll go to the S&P 500 and we'll take a peek. We'll take a peek at that marketplace. Right at an important key level, by the way. All right, so now you can see this market's not moving so fast, right? The NASDAQ was moving like crazy. This is moving a little bit slower, right? And for 60 ticks or even 40 ticks away is 10 points. That's a long, long distance, right? So I would do something different. Let's go down to ATM and make different parameters, right? We'll click on custom, and then we'll make something new up. We'll make something new up. I don't know. Let's just do a 2-unit. Let's do a 2-unit order cancels order, right? And we'll put our initial stop loss at 10 ticks. We'll put our first profit target at, I don't know, let's just say 10 ticks. And then I'm going to add a second target. Stop loss will be the same. My profit will be 12 ticks. Now, this first target here has to be adjusted down to 1, because I want to do 2, 1 and a 1, right? And I got my order quantity to 2. Now, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set up a break-even stop, right? We're going to set up that break-even stop. And I'm going to hit none under stop strategies and then custom. Going to give me that little window here. And I'm going to say, you know what? If this goes 5 ticks our favor, I want to auto break even. 5 ticks our favor plus a tick, right? Oh, we'll go 4 and 1. We'll go 4 and 1. We'll go 4 and 1. Again, this is just kind of showing some general parameters. This isn't a trade strategy per se. This is how you set up trade strategies once you develop your own parameters. So 4 and 1, I'll hit OK. We have to do the same thing here on the other unit. custom. Again, 4 in 1. Hit OK. And now we're good to go. We're good to go. Remember, we're looking for something to move our way 4 ticks, right? And then it will jump. But ultimately, our objective is 10 ticks and 12 ticks. I'll hit OK. Now, what do I have to do? Well, quantities are already changed to 2. We're good there. And I'm going to go ahead and just put a limit order in, see if we can get filled. Now, if we can get filled at 61, remember, I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 tick improvement so that my stop will change. Let's see if we'll be a little bit patient here and just to see if we can get that. We should be able to get it. We should be able to get it. I don't know. It's the middle of the day right now. It's 12 noon, and it's a small, that volume smile goes down in the middle of the day, so there's a little bit less volume in the middle of the day. There we go. So we just got filled, right? And our first target is 10 ticks up. Our second target is 12 ticks up. Our stop loss is 10 ticks down, and we want to see the market print 4 ticks higher. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 62. We want to see a 49.62 print, and then our stop will jump. Then our stop will jump to break even plus a tick. A couple more ticks, we'll get there. And then hopefully it'll continue on its merry way up and we will achieve our profit targets. Alternatively, nothing could be achieved and we could break down and get stopped out of our trade for 10 ticks, which remember it's $12.50 per tick. So $150 risk on this trade. Let's just see if we can get a little bit more movement. Now, one of the struggle here is with patience, right? And the beauty about the way we set this up is my patience is I have an assist on the patience part, right? I don't, because everything's going to happen automatically now. So let's get a little bit more, one more push up, guys. Come on, you can do it. If you're at home trading a live account, start buying right now. I'm kidding. Don't do that because I just said that. Again, you could do this on the short side. You could do it on the long side. You could manually change any of these if you'd like. I could move the stop to a different level. There, just jumped up once. You saw that? We achieved our 4-tick trigger, profit target, right? That trigger. And now it stopped up, it jumped up, and it's 1 tick above our entry. Our entry was 49.61, right? And again, I could manually modify these if I want. I don't have to, though. And right now, I'm hoping that we get filled at 63.50, and so our stop will change from a 2 lot to a 1 lot, and then we keep moving forward, moving up to 64. Wouldn't that be awesome? So we'll kind of wait and see. Alternatively, if we get stopped out, profit targets are immediately canceled. I think I could use the word immediately. So let's be patient here and just kind of see how it goes. Almost there. Remember, though, my limit order, it's 63.50. That first profit target, that's a limit order, right? I'm in line behind 150 other contracts that were there before me. So it's going to take a little bit of time if we're trading at 49.63.5 for me to get my fill. Now, if this market trades at 63.75, I'm guaranteed a fill. Right? It can't go through me without giving me my fill. I'm in line right now, but it could trade at 63.50 and then back off a little bit. So there's a chance that I don't get my fill, but we'll see how it goes. We'll keep it here. Let's see if we can get lucky here. Get one of our targets before we get stopped out in a relatively slow afternoon today. A couple more ticks up. We're going to be patient for a little while, and then I'll start tightening things up to kind of speed things up. If we don't have any cooperation with this market, the trend clearly looks up ever since we tested S1 on the pivot on the chart. You can see S1 in the background there, the pivot of the chart, which established the low of the day. And I have oh, there we go. We got 1, we got 2. Everything happened automatically. My hands are not on the mouse, and that's exactly how it was supposed to happen. All right, so that's how you set up first of all, a multi-target order cancels other automated trade management strategy. And then we upped our game to also include a break-even jump on the actual stop loss once we got partially once we got partially to the profit target, right? We remember we set it at 4 just now, right? Which was a little bit less than halfway. We wanted to go all the way to 10. So it kind of gets you halfway there. Boom, you could jump your stop. So hopefully you catch that momentum and you mitigate the downside risk. All right. Appreciate everybody being here today, for sure. And let me check one last thing before we go. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. All right. Very good. Ed, thank you for your time today. I do want to thank everybody for coming today. We're going to do another quick tip next week. We're going to be focusing on how to actually trail a stop. So not only just one jump, but after the jump, then it keeps moving if you catch the trend. It's super cool functionality. Hopefully you guys could join us then. You guys and gals and traders and folks could join us then. It'll be a lot of fun. In the meantime, please remember, most important message of the day: be safe out there, be good to each other. See you soon.